Now. And I was trying to help her clean off the table, and we went to the back, we're washing dishes. She said, "Oh, I'll wash the dishes." And I'm going, "Sure, I'll wash the dishes." So I thought, well, okay, then I'll dry. And I'm standing there, and I'm saying to her, "Well, you hand them to me, I'll dry them." She said, "Man, they'll be dry in the morning." She never did dry dishes. Some of you know Gwen, you know that that's true. But I wanted to mention Toni. I just wanted to mention Toni because I miss Toni. And I think we're all going to miss Toni because Toni and I would fight over who could fry the best fish and who could fry the best chicken. Of course, I fry the best chicken. So we're going to let Toni get away with the best fish. Toni said at one point, "There's nothing to remember us. It's unbeloved. Not even a bench." And we all thought about that, and so you know that the Toni Morrison Foundation Society, whatever Carol and them were running, started putting benches all around. And I was so sorry because in talking to Toni, at one point, I said, "You know, you got so many benches all over the world." She said, "I'd love to see them." Those of you who know Toni know she didn't, it's two things you never heard her say. You never heard her say who was her friend, and you never heard her say what she wanted. You never heard that. And she said, I would love to see it. And I said, "Oh, Toni, I can do that. I can get pictures and we can make a book." And she died before we were able to make the book. But I've always remembered, of course I do, the bench. Because somehow or another, it's not the bench that we sit on. And I thought about what Toni was trying to say. I don't think that she was talking about the piece of furniture. I thought she was talking about our hearts. A bench is a metaphor. And I'm so sorry, because I know Toni's going to heaven, and I know I'm going to hell. And so, that's the truth. So she probably won't get to see this poem. I don't know what kind of library heaven has. But if they have a good one, and they should have at least one poem of mine, I'm going to hope it's this one. It's called A Bench for Toni Morrison. Benches aren't just pieces of furniture. Sure, we find them at rest stops where the birds are stopped over, and truck drivers have pulled aside to smoke a cigarette no matter how bad they are for you. And yes, in fabulous museums, we find benches decorated, sometimes with gold or bronze and the faces of the famous. Sometimes we even find benches among the poor, which are simply logs, one put across another, or sometimes just bricks piled up and deeply enough into the earth to stabilize those who need comfort. But benches are actually a metaphor. They are friends we call on sad days. They are two old ladies who bring duck eggs when your grandmother passes. They are your mother's friend who makes a quilt for you when she hears you have lung cancer. And mostly, they are the voice on the other end of the phone who says right when you say you are sad to losing your mother, right when you don't know where to go, right when the only person who can read you is on a cross, right because that's your job. Toni Morrison said to me when my mother died, right. It's my pleasure to introduce